Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League. KSL week number 81. Whew, it has been far too long, papi. Good to be here, good to be back with some more Korean StarCraft. Exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. The bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, and we're jumping into our first series of the broadcast. We're jumping into our TVP and spawning in the top right hand corner. Top right hand corner here of ley lines, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the purple Terran representing among SE2 people. It is Guilliman. I'll fix up his name, I'll fix it up. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Green Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss. It is a Creator. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our initial matchup, as we get into our initial series. Let's go, Piper, let's go. Hold on. Guilliman. Just quickly fixing up our lovely player here. Bam, beautiful. Here we go. But again, hope everyone's doing well. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Again, we did take a day off from streaming yesterday. I say take a day off. I was just editing VODs all day, baby. Yeah. Scheduling everything, baby. Everything has been scheduled. Just catching up. I did notice that people did notice in the chat that we have since updated our Patreon goals as well. I mean, that goes in line with yesterday we weren't casting, so what we're doing, we're working on other things. Again, just focusing on editing and scheduling VODs. Likewise, working on the Patreon goals as well. If you are a patron or subscriber, we actually did post to our Discord server a bit of an update and a bit of a kind of like a roadmap of things to come as well. If we do grow our Patreon, I mean, I say if. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all of our supporters on Patreon as well. It has grown so much over the past year, more than any other year. We've been streaming and casting for quite some time, what, like 8 years at this point, and over the past year we have grown quite a lot in regard to the support on Patreon. So thank you so much to all of the support, and again, we do have goals set up here to grow it even further. To ideally, the end goal for me would be to be able to run monthly finals, on a regular basis. Right now we are going to be hosting monthly finals thanks to some generous supporters in the chat. 100% thank you so much for all the generous support. Because that we are hosting monthly finals until the end of the year. Can we grow our Patreon to be able to run that and host that on a regular basis coming into 2026? I mean, time will tell regardless. You know, we have since updated those graphics. Again, you can support us if you wish. Likewise, I mean, you can support us, you can support the KSL as well. The Korean StarCraft League, they have their own Patreon, they have their own way to set up, a way to support. Nowadays we have a lot of grassroots or a lot of kind of like homegrown events, crowd-funded events specifically here, all over the place. So again, there's a lot of ways to support StarCraft depending on which tournaments, depending on which region you do want to step into, you want to support. So again, there are other ways to do so. Otherwise, watching is all that we ask. Because we're getting into our first matchup here. Guilliman is typically seen a lot more in StarCraft Evolution. He's a little bit more renowned, has a little bit more prowess in SE Evo. Here coming into SE2, he's going to be coming in as a bit of an underdog here. We'll see what he can pop off with though. He's typically very cheesy, very unorthodox is typically how Guilliman plays. So we'll see what he brings to the table. For now, going for a 1-1-1 into a 3-1-1 follow-up. Everything's looking pretty normal so far, getting ready for some Widowmine drop play. Meanwhile, back at home, Creator going for a standard opener himself. Now, unfortunately, this week there is no custom map pool. Bit of a feels bad, man. I did raise that to Chicken Man and to Dave, to the organizers of KSL. I was like, hey guys, are we gonna add some TLMC 21 maps? And they opted not to. They did opt not to, unfortunately. It's one of those things where only a handful. I mean, I say that, I'm pretty sure, I mean, we've already been doing it for like 3 weeks at this point. I think finally Wardy's going to be doing so next week, and the Monday night, and TKL, the Comeback TV guys, I think they're finally going to step up next week as well. So they're finally going to be updating their map pool. So it's taken a while, but they're they're catching up. I'm sure the KSL boys will catch up as well eventually. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man. Bearing in mind that voting is going to be opening up in a couple of days in regards to the TLMC 21 map pool. So voting is open, I think, starting Monday. So it is coming up. So make sure to vote. Make sure. As we have our initial Widowmine drop into the main. Was a Twilight Council open at a Creator. And we'll see how quickly he reacts. So far, it does pull away. Does pull away. Ooh, we'll lose a couple of probes here. That's going to be 2 probes going down. Medevac is going to fall, so nice clean up here by Creator to take some losses here, 2 workers in total, but again, it shuts down the Medevac, shuts down the drop, and now can freely expand and get a 3rd. So relatively faster 3rd base here from a Creator, delaying his gases in favor of the 3rd. And here comes the all-in. We mentioned earlier that typically Guilliman is hyper aggressive, so he's going for the all-in. The boys are being pulled. He's got 2 tanks, and he's gonna be met by a little bit of a move command. Yeah, a little bit of a move command there from Creator. Does run into the army, does take a lot of hits. We'll lose 1 Stalker. And so on Creator to slow this down to ideally force an early siege. Gets a couple of Marines. Guilliman does keep pushing. Does keep moving in. Rotor likewise. Oh, trying to keep up. Trying to. Slack can get sniped. Tanks are pushing in. Guilliman is making his way in between the bases. Once again, Creator, he rotates to try to slow this down. Barely does not get the tank. Now we're to 3 tanks. Uh-oh. Yeah, 3 tanks have arrived, but now we have full enough time for a 2nd Immortal. As time goes on, we're building up more Immortals, getting more warp-ins. The base is going to fall, but killing the base is not good enough. Guilliman, he needs to keep going. He has to keep pushing. As he's slowly working his way forward. Tanks, yeah, the Immortals are ready. He's collapsing the army, and Guilliman is going to get surrounded. Yeah, he's going to get surrounded here. Had potential, but took a little bit too long, and he will lose everything. The tanks, the Banshee, everything goes down, and down goes the army, and Guilliman, he's down to almost nothing, down to a handful of Marines. As he mentioned, when you're going for an all-in like this, sure, he killed the 3rd base, but remember, as we tried to emphasize, the 3rd didn't matter. The 3rd base did not matter. It was all about breaking the natural and getting on top of the Robo. Failed to do so, took too long, 2nd Immortal arrived, and then Creator cleaned everything up. Here, Zell taking on top of the Marines, bunkers are not ready. And Creator, he should break through. There is 1 Banshee, but thankfully there are enough Stalkers. And plenty of Stalkers here. Banshee gets hunted down. And GG. GG gets called. Creator here overwhelms, and Creator takes game number 1. GG. Whew, GG will play. Creator, he takes the lead in the series. Again, Guilliman, he unfortunately, when it came to the all-in, was not able to deal any critical damage. He got across the map, he got in between the bases, but he did not push and did not pressure the natural base enough. In the end, Creator, he bought enough time, got those warp-ins, got the extra Immortals. GG. GG. With that, Creator takes the lead in the series, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. And this is kind of what we're expecting coming into the rest of this series, is Guilliman to all-in. Like, we're expecting different forms of aggression, different forms of all-in, maybe proxies sometimes, maybe 2 base all-ins, 3 base all-ins, a little bit less. I feel like he's a little bit less willing to get a 3rd base up and running, but hyper aggression out of Guilliman, and we'll see if he can catch Creator with his pants down. A lot of it will also depend on the maps themselves, so we'll see what map we load into. Let's go. Let's go. Unsieging all the tanks at once was the wrong move. I would say that even if he didn't unsiege all the tanks at once, he would have been cleaned up. Unfortunately, at that point, it was already charged, already 2 Immortals. We were already setting up the surround as well. That didn't make it better, of course, unsieging all the tanks, but like at that stage of the game, like it was, I would say, already too late. Unfortunately. Here we go. There's our setting up. There was some people asking previously about the bug. Of course, I'm pretty sure all tournaments moving forward are going to be doing this, but of course the female ghost skin is banned from these tournaments. I believe it's banned from the Monday Night Weeklies, from KSL. Of course, we're going to be incorporating the ban as well in our tournaments. I'm sure the other events will follow suit. It's one of those bugs that's mainly going to be plaguing the ladder more than anything. Is plaguing the ladder. So be careful out there. Be careful if you're laddering. What's the bug? So if you don't remember, in the previous patch there was a bug where the Ghost, there was a change made to the Ghost, where the Ghost now has reduced supply from, sorry, increased supply. Was it increase or decrease? Sorry, a decrease from 3 to 2. It was increased long ago, like a year ago at this point, but it was decreased from 3 supply to 2 supply, and the light tag was also added as well, right? That was the change made to the Ghost. Unfortunately, they made that change, but it didn't get implemented to the female Ghost. So the female Ghost skin last patch was still not light and was still extra supply. The reasoning for this is because in the game code, it is treated as a separate unit. So these are changes that they applied to the base Ghost, but it didn't get applied to the female Ghost because it in game, like in the code, it just counts as a separate unit. So they kind of like, you know, it got forgotten, I should say. So in the most recent patch, in the most recent hotfix, they tried to fix it. But in trying to fix it, they messed it up a little bit. So they reduced the supply to 2, but they messed up the code, and instead it actually gives 2 supply instead of cost 2 supply. So now when you make a female Ghost, like it provides you supply, which means you can make an infinite amount of Ghosts. There are like screenshots out there of people on the ladder like making like 1,000 supply worth of Ghosts and stuff like that. So technically you cannot get supply blocks, but you can also like over make supply as well. And you can just like pump out as many Ghosts as you can because they give supply when they're made. So basically they tried to rectify like a mistake that they made, and in doing so they kind of messed up a little bit. So we're expecting like another hotfix like next week. So until the hotfix occurs, female Ghost skins are banned in tournaments. Surely is the biggest, most impactful ladder bug ever in Legacy of the Void. That is not true. If you remember the CCs, the CCs like firing. do you not recall? Unless you're trolling. I would say the most impactful bug, one was the CCs. Basically, there was a bug where when you loaded units into a command center, like it treated it like it could attack, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's it. When CCs could pick up covers. Yeah, the CC bug was bigger than this. You could make a strong argument that the Cyclone bug was bigger than all of this as well, because of how long it lasted, right? The Cyclone bug lasted like a year, maybe like 10 months. I'll say the Cyclone bug is bigger just because, one, because we couldn't really fix it for, like, we couldn't really, quote-unquote, fix it for tournaments, just because here you can enforce not using, a skin, whereas for the Cyclone bug, like, it was just permeating throughout the entire, like, tournament scene, right? But also the length of it as well, right? Like, I think we're all assuming that the Ghost bug is going to be fixed next hotfix because we're actively hotfixing the game, right? The game is right now in a state where it's actively being like worked on and patched from week to week. So, yeah, I'd say it's very, very different. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss leading the series 1-0. It is a Creator. And spawning in the top, on the bottom left-hand corner here of Tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player. The South Korean Terran, the blue Terran representing among us two people, it is a Guilliman. And I'll fix up the... There we go. Beautiful. But here we go. We're getting into game 2 here, and we'll see what kind of aggression Guilliman has for us this time. Winding it back, as a reminder, last game, Guilliman went for a 2-base all-in. He went for a 2-base all-in. He moved out with 3 tanks, or he moved out with 2 tanks and reinforced with a 3rd tank as well. Went across the map with a stimless all-in, and he was able to break the 3rd base, but again, it took a little bit too long to push into the natural. By the time he did, there was already a 2nd immortal. There were already 3 shield batteries. Charge had already finished up as well, and the creator was able to surround the army. Time is of the essence when you're going for an all-in like that, and we'll see what Guilliman goes for this time. As we're loading into Tokamak. Tokamak is the most defensive map of the map pool, very large map, long rush distance by ground, so we do expect to see aggression disfavorable on this map. It is difficult to pull off, not impossible, but more difficult. So we'll see if Guilliman has something else cheeky up his sleeve. Let's go. Let's go. As from here, we are going, for a 2nd Rax. Okay, so 2nd Rax is on the way for Guilliman, getting a 2nd Rax, looking to get a 3rd Rax as well. And so far, it's looking like a 3 Rax setup. Technically, we can go up to 4 Raxes and go for like a 4 Rax. You pull the boys, you commit, but that would have been on 1 base, not on 2 bases. So we're expecting a 3rd Rax and a fast stim timing out of Guilliman. This is a very old school build, assuming that we're going for, that is a factory, not a 3rd Rax. We're going for a 2-on-1. Okay, let's go. 2-on-1s are viable in this matchup. They are kind of seen at the pro level. You do like typically mix them in like once a tournament sort of thing, and it has potential, but there's a big downside to this build as well. Assuming that we're going for a standard 2-on-1, where typically you're going to be using the factory for add-ons, you'll be rushing to a starport, rushing into stim more importantly, and getting into a stim timing. Now the downside of this build is that because you're using your factory for add-ons, for add-on swapping, and for getting into reactor, into medevac support, it means that you have no tanks. Your tank count is going to be very low with this build because of the earlier stim, right? You're rushing into early stim, you're fixated and prioritizing marine production as well because of the lower tank counts. As you can see, we're setting up for those add-ons, but because of the lower tank counts, it does mean that Guilliman is going to be vulnerable to Blinkstalker aggression, assuming the creator would be aggressive with Blinkstalkers, referring to 3 and 4 gate blink. Here come the add-ons. Again, reactors on the way into add-on swap into medevacs. Again, it's going to be purely marine to defend. Now, if this build doesn't get punished, Guilliman can potentially get across the map and can do critical damage, right? So there's it's very much so like a fine edge here that Guilliman is going to be walking. Depths get in and they get a full scout. Wow, he gets a full scout as well. This, I mean, in his mind, in Creator's mind, this could have been a 3 Rax, but he does confirm the 2-on-1, is fully aware. Now he knows what's coming his way. And behind this, he was already getting a 3rd. So we're already getting a 3rd base. How many gateways were we on? 2. So very greedy build here by Creator, going 2 gate blink into a 3rd. This is a rare sight. Nowadays, I mean, especially in the last patch, this build died out. So we're going greedy here. We're going for the 2-on-1. Sorry, the 2 gate opener into a 3rd Nexus. Behind this, we're going for a 3rd gateway or defensive robo, and we have to warp in as quickly as possible to get ready for the stim timing. But at least Creator is aware. As here comes Guilliman. He is moving out. Medevacs are on the way. Here we go. Stim is done. We have our 16 Marines. And we should be moving out. The problem here, if Guilliman if he doesn't apply pressure, if he doesn't be active with these Marines, then the build was for nothing essentially, right? We rush into stim. Ideally, you want to make use of stim. If not, well, you were forgoing the tank production, the rest of the upgrades as well, getting into the eBay, into +1, working towards a 3rd CC. So far, Guilliman is staying back at home. It looks like he's hoping to catch any stray gateway units waddling in. Did he scout across the map? He did. Oh, he hasn't seen anything. So Guilliman, he could have been more active here. He's not aware of Creator's build. He doesn't know that Creator, he was greedy here. So that's why Creator's not being active. That's why Creator he doesn't have a presence on the map, because of the 2-gate opener. And now we're committing. Yeah, we pull the boys. All right, the boys are being pulled. So 2-on-1 into a 2-base all-in with a tank production. The Observer will see everything. The Observer spots the tanks, and the Observer spots the SCVs. Creator knows. Creator, he knows. He will engage ahead of time. And this is one of the reasons why it's so difficult to all-in on Tokamak is these ramps, right? You have so many layers of elevation here that you can just kite back to, where you get extra shots off, and you force these early sieges. So again, you're slowing down the push, the sieges are being forced. Gets 1 tank shot off, gets 2. Gets a 3rd tank towards the end. This is a little bit ambitious here from Creator. He gets punished. Yeah, it does overextend. Creator coming in from behind. Immortals are amassing. Charge is almost done. He's catching reinforcements. Again, we still have to wait a little bit longer here for Charge. Charge now completes. Getting us over the shield battery. That is Nartos' pylon. And Stalkers are coming from behind. The tanks are going down. He takes out all the tanks. There's 1 tank left. And Creator holds. Yeah, Creator, he holds. He's got 2 Immortals. Ooh, a little bit of awkward pathing here with the Stalkers, but there we go. Dives up, dives in, and cleans up. Cleans up the all-in. The tanks fall, the Medivacs as well. And again, so crucial here that Creator, he forced the early sieges. He delayed the push. He bought time for, once again, he bought time for the Immortals. He bought time for Charge. And that was it. Like that. Like behind this, we got 3 SCVs here at the Natural. We got a couple of mules. We're trying to hold on. But that was all the Guilliman had. And again, as we mentioned, like this is also just a really rough map to try to go for an all-in as well. So the map was working against him. He got scouted. Creator, he got away with his greed. If you recall, we spoke about the importance of the early sim timing, which didn't really amount to anything. And with that, Guilliman, he will lose his army. I mean, the tank is doing what they can in the back line. Does focus on one of the Immortals. One Immortal goes down, but just the one. And with that, Guilliman, he has nothing left. He goes back in with a drop. He's hoping to try to force a distraction, to force a recall. But there's the warp in. And Creator is going for the throat. So GG gets called, and Creator, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Creators. It does claim the series. Some cheeky builds here by Guilliman, especially here in game 2, going for something more unorthodox, going for a 2-on-1 into a 2-base all-in. It was an interesting build, of course. Unfortunately, by the time, again, it got fully scouted, he didn't really achieve anything with the earlier stim timing, and of course, Creator was able to slow this down, especially on Tokamak. Creator was more favored in regards to defending against that all-in. GG. GG, well played. Now we can catch up with the bracket. Let's figure out where we are and where we are